Josh or Dustin, you want to give us a little rundown on what we covered last session, and then we'll get into what we're doing today? Or was it a blur, Josh?
It all happened so fast. But outside of Dustin, how about you describe what the heck we did?
I think what we did was we kind of got ourselves acclimated to the interface that we're using. So you're using Cursor, I believe. And I think that it's important to understand that, everyone talks about the model, but then the model is just kind of the LLM that's driving behind. But you have a front end that you work with, and the front end that you work with often has different ways of setting it up. So Cursor is one. You have Claude Desktop. There are a number of different ways of using a front end, and you can actually switch the models in the back end as well. So there are many ways that you can use an interface, but you could use, Claude, OpenAI. You can even use local models, and it will all be through this same interface. So I think it's useful to understand that some of these parts are modular and interchangeable as well. And frequently we're starting to see things being called harness, for example, where the harness is kind of how you drive the LLMs that are kind of behind it. So think of it as, the harness is like a saddle and you're riding a horse, and the horse can be OpenAI, it can be Claude, it can be any other open source model that you can use as well.
I like to think of it, there was a experiment years ago now where they put a goldfish inside a tank that had wheels, and wherever the goldfish would swim to, that's the direction the tank would move. A harness is the tank, and the LLM is the goldfish, I think, in
Interesting.
this amazing analogy.
I
Highly
actually think that
recommend
was a
looking
good
it up.
analogy. Not as good as Dustin imitating being a fish, though. All
And
right.
just to zoom out really
Sonal,
quick,
Kent, any
yeah, just
Oh,
to
any
preface all this and kind of think about this at a high level, what we're doing. So yes, we're going to be sort of vibe coding with AI, which is really cool, continuing that. But in the context of building smart contract code, and this to me is like super cool because until about now in the history of blockchains and Ethereum, Ethereum has proven itself to be this incredible decentralized, censorship resistant, permissionless platform. It's immutable, transparent, all these great things. Um, but until now, it's been very difficult if you're not, or basically impossible if you're not a developer, to build anything on it, to actually, you can use it in many ways, but to build is different. And now, for the first time in the history of Ethereum, you have the ability to actually build stuff on this very proven out, incredible decentralized network. And that to me is super freaking cool. So just keep that in mind as we dig in, because this is for you, this is going to be very empowering if you want to build on this stuff.
thank you, Kent. That was perfect. Um, yeah. So, Josh, what do we need to know or do before you get set up? I know you're going to be sharing a little bit. And if you didn't see our first reviewing smart contracts with AI stream, I'm going to put it in the chat as well for anybody who wants to catch up on that later. But I don't think you need to have watched that to,
Yeah, not at
be
all. I'm
able to
gonna
watch
I'm gonna do
this.
another recap just quickly going over the interface,
Okay.
and giving lots of uh, warnings, etc. Uh, First and foremost, again, we said it last time, we'll say it again this time. We're in no way, shape, or form sponsored by Cursor, sponsored by Anthropic, OpenAI. This is just C4's committee, our CEP committee, coming together to kind of show you how this technology is being used by others in the space, and how you can utilize it to do amazing things. And that main amazing thing is actually learn about this stuff. There's especially when you're getting into smart contract development, it's even itself a difficult form of development. So being able to have these robots that you can talk to and learn from directly is ends up being pretty sweet and powerful. So this is what we're here to show you. We're not here necessarily to show you how to build an LLM and or build AMM and get your users out trading on your system tomorrow. We're just here to help you kind of demystify a lot of this technology, both on the AI side of things and on the smart contract side of things.
Yeah, AI has enabled so many cool things, and the educational side of it is fascinating. As long as we're aware, we have to proceed with caution with some of this. Just because you learn something doesn't mean you fully understand how to do it and that you can do so safely. So just another caveat, be aware that AI is not going to catch everything. It's a good learning experience, but this does not mean that you are now suddenly a professional coder. So just be aware of that. I also will be aware of that because I find this fascinating, but we all need to know our limits and play around with things. But once you bring in real money, I think it's, or lack of privacy or access to any of your information, just be aware of that. All right, Josh, what have we got on screen here?
All right, so I've opened up Cursor. I've started a new project already called Livestream, and I think that's today's date. We'll find out. And as mentioned before, I'm using Cursor today. There's many other tools out there that do similar, give you the power of developing with an LLM behind the scenes through different interfaces. Some of them more focused on just like the chat experience and kind of iterating back and forth with the chatbot to build stuff. I'm using Cursor today because it gives you a lot more glimpse into the underlying files that it's actually creating and modifying. And I think from a learning perspective, that can be extremely valuable. So not to say Cursor is the best tool out there. I'm just saying that for this particular use case of helping people learn today, I think Cursor is a fantastic tool for that. Going over the interface just a little bit, and again, we went through this in round one, so I'll be a little quicker this time. Along the left here, you're going to see just the files that we create, and we can open them and review them here in the middle. They'll open up and we'll get to either edit code directly, comment on things, copy and paste, and use that information to then talk to our bot. And then we'll also see things called plans come up. As we start to develop, as we start to have conversations, we might create a plan and we'll be able to review that plan in the middle here. On the right is your classic chatbot kind of interface. Nothing probably mysterious about that at this point. I'm sure most of the people watching this video have at least, played with ChatGPT or saw Google give them results that they didn't want. These are all the kind of normal chats you can do, and you can do that here today as well. So it's not, nothing fancy about this. It's just an interface. But there are a couple extra elements that are interesting to us. There's this mode selection down here. Right now, we're just an agent. Agent means it's going to be chatting with us, but also potentially editing files. It might be going to the web to grab information. It might be changing things here on my file system. It might be running applications here on my file system based on what I tell it to do. So agent is very much like, careful, things are happening. And because that can be a little bit dangerous and we don't always want that, there's some other modes that are very important as well. Plan mode, I'll tend to work in a lot because I think it's very valuable. Plan mode means don't change anything. Like, leave my files alone. Let's just have a conversation about what we want to do next. And a lot of LLMs, the real power starts to come as you iterate on things. It's rare that it's going to get something right on one go. But if you can have a conversation with it and get all the points across, and that's also something on us as squishy humans. We make assumptions in our mind that something is obvious, and then it has to come back and say, well, what about these? And it provides, 10 options, and you're like, oh, well, I didn't consider all those 10 options. I only thought of the one option. Of course, I want this one option. So the plan mode not only allows the LLM to iterate on itself, but allows you as the human to provide more context to what your actual goals or desires are. So plan mode is very important. And I'm going to leave these two for now, debug and multitask. They're a little bit more cursor specific. Dustin was talking about the harness element. Cursor is the harness in this. So it is what's holding the LLMs